Hi, my name is Sarah Gillum. I am one of the students in our leadership theory class, and this is my leadership theory and models presentation for Module 4, and we will get started. So the first theory that I want to discuss is the Contingency Leadership Theory, and in this theory, leadership and the effectiveness of the leader depends on the leader, the follower, and the situation. The contingency leadership theory really focuses on team leadership because it suggests that a leader should focus on their strengths and should not change who they are for the situation, but should look for how to change the situation in order to match their strengths. I think that's really interesting. It says that the effectiveness of a leader depends on how well the style fits the context of the job, which I think is certainly true in any situation. And I use this quote because it's something I'll talk about toward the end. If the leadership style does not match the situation, the leader may be ineffective. That really rang true to me as I reflect on my own life situation, my school district, the school where I work as a principal, and just the times that we're in. And it made me realize that there's truth to that. I think someone could be a really effective, really good leader, but they're just in the wrong situation for their strengths. So I could see where that would be very, very true and very relevant to think about. In Continuum Theory, we learned that leadership is a continuum from boss-centered to subordinate-centered. And I read this and I thought, wow, that is a goal to achieve. And I found myself reflecting on my own journey as a school leader, as a principal. And I thought about the fact that when I moved into leadership, I was boss-centered. I was more autocratic in my style because I thought, oh, gee, I'm the principal. I better make sure I make all of the decisions because I'm taking responsibility for them. And then everyone should follow the decisions because they have to, because I'm the boss. And that never really worked too well. I don't think I was able to be that kind of leader for more than one decision, because in my school situations where I've been a leader, my staff knows that they're trained and they're educated and they value their students and their jobs, and they understand, how to get through the school year, and they want to be a part of the solution. And so I've moved to a more participative style of leadership, and it has taken time because it's scary to let other people make the decisions that ultimately we're still responsible for as the leaders. And one of the things that's driven how quickly that's gone is looking at the subordinates, at my teachers and staff, and their willingness to participate. And when they want to participate more, the continuum theory model says they need to be allowed to. That should really be capitalized on. Along with that, though, I think that it also encourages us, if we go into a new situation as a leader, we have to start with the subordinates. What kind of leader are they comfortable with and used to? If they're used to a leader that gives them authority to participate and gives them independence, then you can't come in as an autocratic leader because it creates too much dissonance. I think if you are that kind of person where you really need to be boss-centered, but you go into a participative situation, you sort of have to back up on that continuum that's on page 118 of our book. You have to go from, yes, letting them take the lead to reducing that, and it's gradual. And the same thing goes if you go into a situation where the community has been thriving under a leader who just gives directives. They're not going to be comfortable making the decisions on their own. So that has to be brought out in the community. They have to learn and feel comfortable and feel that trust to be vulnerable and to make decisions and to give their own ideas. So there's that continuum that can go either way, but this leadership model and theory does say that there's more strength in the participation. It does remind us that environmental considerations, time constraints, the importance of the circumstance could also change where you have to live on that continuum. But overall, I read it as saying that we should move as much toward a group participation in making decisions as possible. The path goal leadership theory almost seems to be the opposite of the contingency leadership theory. This one says that the leader should use the appropriate leadership style out of the 4 listed leadership styles, regardless of what they're comfortable with. So in the path goal leadership theory, if we go into a leadership situation, and I suppose I was talking about that with the continuum, if we go into a leadership situation where relationships are needed more than anything, but I'm a task-oriented kind of gal, it doesn't matter. I become a relationship person. And the reverse is true as well. If I go into a leadership situation, everyone has these wonderful relationships, but they don't get anything done, I need to make sure we move into a task-oriented situation. It says that leaders can increase motivation by clarifying the path, by making sure the objectives are clearly stated and our direction for meeting those objectives is known to the stakeholders, and then by increasing the value of the rewards. One of the things that I think is really interesting is looking at the leadership substitutes theory. This says that situational factors can neutralize a leader's behavior. So a leader could be going along just well, and then interferences get in the way that change the leader's ability to effectively lead. And one of the things in my field in education that's really been a neutralizer, I think, is Zoom. In my district in California, we've had shutdowns and we've had closures and we've had distance learning and we've had shelter in place all over the last year. And through most of that, our communication, our staff meetings have been, and even our classes have been through Zoom. And right now we're in a situation where we really need to build relationships, and that's difficult to do when everyone's on mute. And it's difficult to do in person when you have to be, at least 6 feet away from a person and half of your face is covered. So there are things going on where I think very effective possibilities have been neutralized just by the current climate and situation. Thank you very much. I used our Lucia and Acuna book, Leadership Theory, Application, and Skill, for this presentation, and I look forward to seeing your feedback. Thank you so much for your time and for watching this video. Have a great day.